Behind the Brand, baby. Watch it. Tell your friends about it. Hey, I'm Grant Cardone, and you're watching Behind the Brand with Brian Elliott.
So on this show, we pull back the curtain. We explore, behind the brand.
What a great name for a show, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
One of my mentors, Seth Godin, would argue with me. I'm not a brand. I'm a human being. But I disagree with him on that side. I think that we are a brand, whether we like it or not.
100% agree with that.
And so, how would you describe the Grant Cardone brand?
Interesting. So, I think people would I'm a sales guy. How do other people see it, or how do I see it?
I want you to describe it, because then maybe I'll give you some feedback of what I think.
Yeah. Well, so for me, when you ask me that question, I can't answer it without seeing other people's viewpoint, because I see from their view, probably before I see from my view.
Well, let's step back then, and before we go there, in your opinion, what is a brand?
A brand is something that's seared into the mind of the other side. So the brand isn't what I think it is; it's what you think it is. So
we agree.
Yeah, good. So seared like brand means I branded the cattle with my GC logo and said, hey, that's my cattle.
Yeah.
So that I have ownership and you can't steal my cattle.
Yeah, I think another way to say brand is reputation. And reputation can only be in the eyes of the others.
Yeah.
Because it's, how you the experience you give them, or how you treat them.
Yeah.
And and it changes. It can change.
Yeah. So depending on where you met me, like over the last 30 years would pretty much depend upon how you see me. Some people see me as a sales guy. If you came out of the automobile industry, you know that I had a lot to do with changing the way they sell cars now. If you've met me in the last 3 years, dude, the guy's a freaking social media influencer.
Right.
If you met me 10 years ago, you would be like, he's a speaker and a motivational guy. So it could be sales, could be, if you met me 20 years ago, you're like, oh my God, that guy's one of the best closers and negotiators. My information on closing and negotiating is just stellar.
Yeah.
Some people know me because I'm a writer, as an author, of books that are called The 10X Rule, Sell or Be Sold, Close Survival Guide, Be First or Last. Very, very polarizing kind of arguments. I think some people see me as a really aggressive, confrontational person. Some people know me as their uncle. So we did this gig here in LA. There was 3,000 people there, and 80% had never seen me speak live. They had only seen me online. So they think I'm this Instagram, YouTube
personality,
not real guy. Like people are like, I just had to see if you're even real.
Yeah.
And then other people know me because I'm a real estate investor.
Yeah. So
I don't know. What do you know me as?
I met another very dogmatic personality early on, Gary Vaynerchuk. A lot of people get turned off by him. He's polarizing. I instantly loved Gary. I instantly loved you too. I was like, I got to find out about this guy though. Because when you peel back the onion a little bit, and the message is important, but sometimes the delivery of the message doesn't resonate with everybody, right?
Yeah. No, I'm terrible at that.
But I also thought, that's not my style. Like, I'm more introverted, I'm quiet, I'm in my head a lot. But I get it, and I like it. And that was my first sort of introduction to the Grant Cardone brand.
Yeah.
And if you ask me today what I think you're about, I think you're about helping people live better lives. That's how I'd sum it up.
Getting ready to go in and do a meeting for my sales team. They're on the phone every day. They think I'm going in there to talk about sales. I'm going in there to talk about money, because if you don't have your money right, if you're not thinking about money correctly, guess what? You're never going to make a sale. You're never going to push through the objections and the barriers and the hang-ups and everything that goes on in sales. It's a disappointing job. It's a tough job. It's a crazy job. It's like being an actor, okay? Why would anybody be an actor after they go on 100 auditions? Nobody ever picks them. They're like, I'm done. The only reason you want to do that is because you want to be a superstar. Okay, guys, so this is what I want to do. I want to talk to you about money today, not sales.
All right.
You don't get the money right, you're not gonna make the sale, period, okay? $1 million. Peter Thiel, $2.8 billion Peter Thiel said, the single digit millionaire, you know what that means? Guy with $1 million, or 2, or 3, or 4, cannot even provide his family with proper defense, legal defense in America. Much less emergencies, divorces, major lawsuits, business lawsuits, issues happening, 2 kids going to college. So what he's saying is this, okay? It became a very, very controversial article because he's like, rich dude scratching fingers on the chalkboard, the slides, okay? Is saying, hey man, if you got $1 million, you're basically just a freaking deadbeat. And that your daddy didn't tell you that. Your daddy's like, oh man, $1 million, you in the money. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you today how to get through all this rejection and disappointment, discouragements, the hang-ups. You got to change the way you look at money. This is not money right here, okay? This is not money. This is just dumbness. This is you not making a decision. This is you being lazy saying, man, $1 million and I'd be set.
Not a lot of people in your space with the amount of resources that you've got, limited time that you've got, will take the time and get real personal. And to me, that's what started to ring my bells. Like, this guy's getting personal. You start talking about your family, and then I started thinking about my family. I started listening, leaning in a little bit farther. Oh, this guy's not just trying to sell me something. He's trying to add value.
Yeah.
And there is value in the free information that you give.
Yeah.
And that's why I really started being impressed.
Yeah. And I am always trying to sell something. Like I need everybody to understand, like, don't be surprised when I try to sell something, because I am always trying to sell something.
Well, who's altruistic? We're all a little truistic. Like, we want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But it's got to make sense.
Yeah.
Even this show, we produce it pro bono, but I'm not doing it for kicks and giggles.
Right.
Right now you're seeing my brand.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm trying to add value to my audience by drawing out the wisdom and experience that you've got.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
I think you make a point about, because there's a lot of guys that I know, like, that I've had on my stages that they're like, dude, how do you make all this time to do all this content you do?
Yeah.
So all that takes a lot of energy and effort that really doesn't monetize, but everything. I'm always trying to sell somebody on something, which means it's not always about money. It could be about, hey, use this to be successful, because if you are successful, you are going to tell somebody that I did this thing that this guy, you'll always associate it back to where you got it from if you're an honest person.
Yeah.
I used this thing this guy told me about. Or I went to this chiropractor and he gave me this crazy adjustment, right? And whatever it is, the success is worth more than the money.
Yeah, and everything and nothing has changed, right? I mean, back in the day, when you lived in a small town and the butcher already knows what you want before you walk in the door.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best.
I love that,
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So for those who are maybe in your space of your caliber, what do you say to them? What is that? So why are you doing it? What's the return on the investment? Is it about trust? Is it about being there before the sale?
Well, it's just the way I do it. Like we have a huge product lineup, and I know guys that condemn the monetization, some of which you've already mentioned. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have the products. It's easy for you to condemn it. You haven't taken the time or the energy or put in the work to create the products.
So you're talking about the conferences or the books?
No, I'm talking about more. I'm talking about systems people can get on.
Okay.
So like, not come to a conference. A conference is a lot of work, right? But no, come listen to me answer your questions for 30 minutes. It's the easiest thing anybody can do. It's the laziest speech in the world. What do you want me to do? Grant, I'll pay you $150,000. Come answer some questions on stage. Let's go. Like, there's no preparation. I fly in, sit down, ask me questions, I answer it. I've already got my money, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about people building out system. Hey, how do you buy real estate? What are you looking for? How do you find it? For me to build out a 40-hour real estate system that I sell for anywhere from $1,000 to $12,000, that takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
So all I'm saying right there is, people should look for people that build systems to learn. I need to study something. I can't just hear something.
Yeah.
People are so lazy on their learning today. And we're making people lazier because of Instagram and Facebook, even interviews like this. People can watch podcasts, think they learned something. Maybe, maybe not. There's no system here because you're trying to get your audience to know me right now, which is the right thing to do, right?
Yeah, we're at the top of the funnel, let's face it.
Yeah,
Right?
totally top of the funnel, right? So if I'm going to study Warren Buffett, because Warren Buffett didn't create a system, then I have to actually I have to build a system around Warren. So I'm going to go back and find Warren's first interview and his second one. I got to literally lay them out in chronology. That's how I study.
Yeah.
If I was going to study Vaynerchuk, I would study everything Gary's ever said in an interview because he doesn't have a system. So, and I want to see what happened. Like, how's he starting to change his opinion? Or Warren, what's Warren really saying? In all the interviews he's done over the last 20 or 30 years. And because I need to find out where I'm picking up a guy's data. Steve Jobs, at the beginning of Steve Jobs, if you could study Steve Jobs when he was 20, he was saying something different when before he died.
Yeah.
And then people need to calculate, hey, this is where I'm at right now when I tell you this piece of data, okay? He's like, money won't make you happy at the end of his life.
Yeah.
But that's not what he was saying when he was 20, right? So if you took that one thing when he was famous that he said, he already had his money.
Yeah. This is a super good piece of advice that I want to just underscore and make sure that we highlight, which is, first you got to consider the source.
Yes.
Right? So if you ask your parents, it's a funny story. My father-in-law will probably not appreciate me telling this story, but anyway, so when he was telling my wife, his daughter, giving her advice, career advice, when she was going through college, he said, you better take a lot of typing classes so you can be a good secretary. And she's like, secretary? I'm going to be running the business. But that was his mindset.
Sure.
And so it was limited.
Yeah.
Right? To his experience.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
And the era in which he grew up.
Exactly.
So you have to really be careful about who you're taking advice from and when.
When are you getting it from him?
Yeah, that's excellent advice.
Yeah. So Bernie Madoff, if you got information from him in the beginning, sounded really good.
Yeah.
But now you could throw it all away.
Didn't end up so well.
Okay. Same thing with anybody. Anybody that ends up in jail, doesn't pay their fees, doesn't pay their debts back to society. If you want to take information from them, like if that's where you are sourcing data, if you even value the data, and the guy's still a criminal and didn't clean it up, I'm telling people up front, dude, I did some bad stuff in my life. Like I fell off the train. I spent the last 36 years cleaning my mess up. So going from, hey, I'm knocking on doors, door to door for 3 years when I was in my 20s, 29 to 31 years old, every day knocking on doors on business owners. Hey, my name's Grant Cardone. I got an idea. Learning how to sell something door to door to where I'm at today to filling the stadium up. Like that's a cool story. To study Jay-Z, and see the transition. How do you go from drug dealer to peddling CDs, to filling stadiums, to wearing tuxedos with presidents?
Yeah.